this tiny little wafer-thin chip could be a better way to explore space than this.
In the gold rush to space, you could say we're like the shovel.
Once upon a time, Natalia Bailey had big dreams of working for NASA.
I would sleep on my trampoline at night and watch the stars and thinking about aliens and watching the space station pass overhead. And I, went on to apply to NASA twice to become an astronaut, and I've gotten the thanks but no thanks postcards from NASA, but I'll keep applying.
So she had to settle for being a plain old rocket scientist and a founding member of Accion Systems, a startup poised to revolutionize space travel with these wafer-thin chips that, believe it or not, are engines.
Low Earth orbit is becoming more and more accessible to organizations, universities, hobbyists in their garages, people that before never would have even imagined launching a satellite. So we're talking about tens of thousands of satellites being launched over the next decade, and currently they have no propulsion solution. And that's what Accion is building, is an ion engine that works on small satellites.
Okay, this is actually rocket science, so here's the bare minimum you need to know. An ion is a charged atomic particle. By pushing ionic liquid, which is basically a molten salt, into this chip the size of a penny, billions of ions can be discharged at mind-boggling velocities.
If you could picture an astronaut sitting on the back of a satellite, and she's throwing tennis balls off the back. Each time she throws a tennis ball off, the satellite moves a little bit in the opposite direction. In Accion's engine, these tennis balls are actually ions, and our smallest ion engine is about the size of a pack of cards.
Now, we'll still need conventional rockets to escape Earth's gravity, but once in space, Accion's chip will increase the shelf life of satellites by years, and eventually enable deep space travel without chemical propulsion rockets.
Our engines operate without any fire or flames or loud noises, so they're not quite as visceral as, say, a Falcon Heavy rocket, for example, but they're very efficient. So this is a Berkut. It's a canard pusher, and it's kind of like our family car. I've always wanted to be an astronaut, and aviation is kind of like the next best thing. Fortunately, I married a pilot, and we're raising the youngest pilot here.
All right, November Delta number 2, runway 23, clear touch and go.
The first electric propulsion engines were actually developed in the 50s and 60s, but they were largely ignored after that. And it seemed to me during college that there was this whole branch of rocket science just waiting to be advanced.
Natalia's studies accelerated at such a rapid pace, she had to learn what it meant to own a business while still a student of science.
I don't think business comes that naturally to me. I was in a lab at MIT trying to finish up experiments with headphones on, listening to how to be a startup CEO and trying to learn on the job, essentially. Our serious long-term customers are right now people like the Department of Defense and folks like Lockheed Martin and Boeing. But our first flight delivery that went out the door was actually to Irvine High School. So a group of high school students is going to be launching a CubeSat with our system on it.
After hawking these chips to everyone from school kids to the Department of Defense, Natalya envisions Accion playing an even larger role in space exploration.
Shoot for Mars or Alpha Centauri. Pretty a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal.
Is that sort of like your whole career, basically?
Yes. Why would you have it any other way?